Take It Slow Homestead. I'm Carol, and today is the day that I'm going to organize my seeds for this year. So I'll show you what I've been doing. I've got some seed packets right here spread out. These right here are the ones that I'm going to be planting indoors in little containers to give them a head start. Then I have several others that are before me, and I will show them to you as we go along. I'll show you what I'm going to be planting this year, at least what I plan to plant this year, and how I'm going to organize them. First of all, for the seeds that I'm going to be planting indoors ahead of time, I have celery. I grew some celery last year that was my best crop ever, and I was able to share some with my family, my kids. So that was great, and I'm going to plant some more again. It's so handy to have it in the freezer and just be able to put it in your cooking when the recipe calls for celery. There it is, already cut up and cleaned up and in your freezer, and you can just throw it in the pot. And then also I'm going to plant some pepper seeds. These are just sweet bell peppers because I don't do hot. So these are sweet bell peppers and celery. Now, these two I'm going to start in March, which is this month, so along about the middle or so of March. And then in April, I'm going to start these seeds. First of all, basil, and some of these seeds are older, so we'll see which ones germinate well and which ones don't. Some might not germinate at all, but we'll see. Rosemary, and a flower called candy tuft. Also, for April, tomatoes, and I'm going to try these cherry tomatoes this year, and broccoli. I already planted some broccoli in some jugs and put them out in my garden already. It's called winter sowing. I've never tried that before, so we'll see how that goes. So I have these that I just showed you, some for March, some for April, and I have a box right here that I found in my basement. I put a divider in the middle, and then I also have these little chunks of cardboard, and I'm going to use those for dividers. And this is how I'm going to do it. Here's the celery and the green peppers that I'm going to plant in March this month. And I'm going to write, let me measure, okay. I'm going to write across the top of this, March indoors. So it will say March across the top and indoors. Okay, so that's how that looks. I'm going to put it, I'll face it your way. Okay, about like that. Well, I'm setting it on some seeds, so it's Hiwampus. There we go. So March indoors, put that right there. Here's the two packets that I'm going to be planting in March indoors, and put that behind there. Now I'm going to continue doing that. On this one I will put April indoors, and I will put these others that I just showed you behind that one and put that in there also. Before I do that, there's something else that needs to go in the March area. But this is just going to be plain old March, and that means they're going outdoors. Direct sowing into the garden. So I'm going to put March on the top of this one. in big writing like this. And around here we can plant peas, green peas, the middle of March, if the ground is not frozen. You never know around here. So March, this is for direct sowing. And last year I saved some peas from the garden. So here's some peas from last year's garden. Quite a few. I'm going to put those there. If I need more, I have some Livingston, and so I'll plant those if I need to have more than what I have right here. If I plant both of those and I still need more pea seeds, I will plant some of these little Marvel seeds, pea seeds. And I always soak my peas first before I plant them because that helps them to germinate sooner. So that's how I'm going to keep track. Just make this little file system here. There's March indoors and there's March, which means outdoors. Now I'm going to show you the rest of the seeds, and I don't know, maybe I'll put it on time lapse and I'll get them all filed so you can see that. So in April, I'm going to plant some spinach seeds that I saved from last year. If I run out of those, I have 3 more packages of spinach seeds that I've purchased. And I'll plant the older ones first. Hopefully they'll all germinate. I don't recall any time when I've planted old seeds that they have not germinated. I have planted 10-year-old tomato seeds before, and they've germinated like crazy. So if you're not sure about your seeds and if they're too old, just give it a try, because if you don't plant them, you will for sure not get anything. If you do plant them, you might get something. They might germinate. So this spinach is for planting outdoors in April. I already showed you the indoors for April. That's these. Also in April, we always plant our carrots. This little container is full of carrots, carrot seeds, and I have 2 packages from 2022. Yeah, 2022, when a couple of my carrots went to seed. And so I saved those seeds, and I'm going to just put these in this container. And I always plant my seeds with this container. It's an Old Spice container. It has little holes in it like this. And I just pretend this is still open. I prepare my soil, and then I go along and I shake this container over the place where I want my carrots to grow. Then later, when they sprout, and when it's safe, when they're big enough and strong enough, I thin them. And I am an advocate for thinning carrots, because the times I have not thinned them, I get small carrots, little tiny ones. And if you've watched some of my other videos, you've seen the little tiny carrots I get. And I'm determined when that happens that I use them all, which is very tedious, but it helps me remember for the next year, thin your carrots. I don't know how you do it, but I always try to thin my carrots. When I do, I always get wonderful big carrots. So you might consider thinning your carrots all the time. Also in April, and I don't have those 2 items here, but we always plant onions, and we plant onion sets, and we plant our potatoes in April, the middle of April. Now, we cut our potatoes and just plant a portion of the potato that has 2 or 3 eyes on it. That's how we do it. And we don't have to let them dry out because we live in a dry climate. Our soil is not automatically moist. It's not automatically watered every few days by the rain. We have to irrigate. And since we do live in a dry climate, we don't have any problem with, after we cut the potatoes, having to lay them out to dry. We don't ever have to do that. We just cut them, drop them right in the ground. The next thing I want to show you is May. Some of these can be put in the ground in early May. For example, these, let me pull that out. Blue Morning Glory flowers, which is one of my very favorite flowers. I really love them. I think they're beautiful. But you do have to plant them early or else you don't get a chance to enjoy the flowers. I have a few asparagus seeds left over. They're coated, if you can see them in the bottom of the package there, they're pink. And I'm just going to take those and scatter them around in various places. There's just a few left. And just see where they take hold and where I will someday have asparagus growing. We'll see what happens with that. It will be a fun experiment. I also have some dill seeds. They're from 2007. That's a long time ago. I'm going to scatter some of those around and just see what happens. And as far as flowers go, I'm going to plant some flowers out in front of the fence I worked on last year. And I have some larkspur seeds, which are very hardy around here. Got some from 21 and some from 22. And I will plant those out in front of the fence. And also some cosmos. I had a neighbor who grew these, and she said every year she would just, at the end of the year after they died down, she would just mow them down, and the next year they would come right back. So I'm excited about planting those out in front of the fence. I have some more also for the front of the fence. Okay, we did March, April, and May, and now our last average frost is May 20th around here. We usually just plan on putting our last seeds for the, what do you call it, the more delicate plants, the ones that tend to freeze easier. We just plan on putting those seeds in the ground June 1st. But this year I'm going to try and start near the end of May, as long as the temperature is good, and getting them in the ground then. I remember the year when we had a frost on June 19th, which is unusual, but it happened. So we'll see what happens this year. Hopefully that never happens again here. I would rather have it nice and warm. So some of the things I'm going to plant are pole beans, and these are from 2021. And they're Blue Lake pole beans, and there's some more. So pole beans, cucumbers, crookneck squash. I'm just gonna read these to you. Zucchini costata romanesco. That is a great and fun, okay, I'm gonna show you. That's a really fun zucchini to grow. I really like it. Pumpkin. This is a small sweet sugar pie. Buttercup squash. I have to show you. This is buttercup squash. I grew some last year. They're awesome. And then this is butternut squash, which you probably all know what this is. And I have another package of old seeds right here. These are pretty old butternut squash. So we'll see if they grow. And then I have some corn from Johnny's. Some of my seeds are from Johnny's. Some are from several other places, and I don't advertise for anybody but everybody. Just get seeds. And then also in June, I am going to plant some of these balloon flowers. They're a perennial, and even here, they're a perennial. So that's good, and I love the color. Okay, those are for June. Those are mostly vegetables, a little bit of flowers. I guess I should actually just scoot those balloon flowers over in this section right here. But in this section, there's purple coneflower seeds that I got from my son, and some purple allium flowers seeds that I also got from my son. Also, for flowers for June planting, I have sunflowers. These are the giants. And some little tiny marigolds. Then I'm going to plant some more zinnias, but not as many as I did before. These are from 2022, and there's some red and some white. These are seeds that I got from those two particular colors of flowers. Then I'm going to try planting this crimson clover. It says on the package it's different from red clover. They're two different types of clover, but this is crimson clover, and it will restore nitrogen to your soil. So I'm anxious about that. I'm excited, to start that. Then I have some small orange marigolds from 2 years ago in that envelope that I harvested. Some Lilliput zinnias. These are all the fuchsia color, and I harvested those from my garden. This is a different type of sunflower. It's not the giant, it's a smaller variety, and I'm going to throw those out in front of the fence. These Lilliput zinnias and orange marigolds, they're also for in front of the fence. And then these zinnias here, they're giants, California giants. They're going to be scattered in front of the fence also. So I hope that somehow in front of my fence, it gets enough moisture from just rain running off the road, or maybe the sprinklers will hit them occasionally, I don't know. It would just be nice to have a few flowers out there that grow spontaneously, right? Knock on wood, that I don't really have to worry about watering. So we'll see if that works. Okay, those are the flowers, and those are the vegetables, and I'm ready to get going. So I'm going to organize these in the little box, and then they'll be all ready for me just to look in the box and say, oh, it's April, I need to plant these right here outside. So it should make it easier because I'm doing the organizing right now. I won't have to think about organizing again. I just need to go to my little file box, grab the ones that need to be planted at that particular time, and get them planted. Well, there we go. I got that all done. And it didn't take very long. And it didn't take very long to get my seeds out from their hiding place, their winter hiding place. And get them spread out, decide which ones I wanted to plant this year, which ones I didn't. Remember that when you're choosing what to plant, plant the things you like to eat. And if you plant something that is different and unusual and you want to try it, and then later you find out you really didn't like it that well, then remember that. And if you don't like it, don't plant it. If you do like it, then plant plenty of it for yourself and a few things to share with your neighbors and friends and family. It feels good to be able to share your garden with others. Now, if you haven't organized your seeds yet, then it's time. Even if you live in the South and your season is already starting and you can plant things outside right now, but you haven't, go ahead and do it. Even if you're a little late, go ahead and do it. One year, my son didn't plant his garden until July. He was not able to get it in the ground any sooner. But he thought, well, I'm going to plant it anyway. I don't care if it is July already. So he planted, and he got a bountiful harvest. So give it a try. Do the best you can. If you haven't started planting yet, get started. If you live in a colder climate than I do, then you might have to wait a little while longer, or do some winter sowing, or if you have a greenhouse, you can start things in there. And you can even, of course, you know this, you use your greenhouse all year if you need to in the colder climates. In the warmer climates, if you haven't started planting yet, just go ahead and start. You have a long window, what should I say, a long window, a big window, a wide window. You have a long time in your summer to plant and grow and harvest, more than most people in this country. So take advantage of that and do the best you can. Even if you do things slow, like I do most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, you can accomplish a lot anyway. Thanks for watching.